We're continuing to read from Caitanya Caritamrita. We are reading from the purport. We are on text, chapter 4, text 26. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we started reading this. I'll just read the translation. If my beloved consort reproaches me in a sulky mood, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. So Krishna is saying that the Brahmanas, they are trying to glorify him by the Vedic hymns, but that it's okay, he's happy, but it does not steal his mind. But what steals his mind is when Srimati Radharani, she comes to him in a sulky mood and she's reprimanding him. She's being upset at him for something that he has done wrong. Man, this man is Radharani's special mood. She has that. That's their relationship between Krishna and her. She sometimes or many times gets angry at him and he really enjoys that. You know, between like the lover and the beloved also, there'll be some joking and somebody will really try to irritate the other just so that the love can become more and that mood can become more sweeter. So Krishna says that it's really, really enjoyable for him. But in the course of exchanging transcendental, we finished that? The
regulative principles, I think we are on this.
Yeah, so thanks. Thank you. Regulative principles in devotional service are meant for those who have not invoked their natural love of Godhead. So if now we were hearing Krishna is enjoying, if someone is behaving him, tying him up, his mother is tying him up, his friends are fooling with him, his lover is being upset with him, and Krishna is enjoying that. And then what I'm reading is regulative principles in devotional service are meant for those who have not invoked their natural love of Godhead. So shall I pretend? I don't want to follow rules and regulatives, principles. That means I have to follow something. I have to do certain things. Then, so can I just pretend that anyway, each of us have love for Krishna. So it's there, it's not false, but should I just pretend my natural love for Krishna has already been revived and that I'm already in my relationship with Krishna? Should I do that? Just so that I don't have to follow the regulative principles of devotional service, which seems to be troublesome, which seem to be, it's not so high. People will think I'm a lower person. People will think I'm very high if I'm already developed my love for Krishna. What shall we do? Yes, we cannot do that. We cannot do that because then we are just cheating ourselves. So because we have not invoked our natural love of God, okay, it's there. The natural love of God is there in each of us heart, but we have not yet invoked it. And the very way to invoke it is to follow the rules and regulations of bhakti, the regulative principles of bhakti. We have to follow it so that we can revive the love. A very important point. When natural love arises, all regulative methods are surpassed and pure love is exhibited between the Lord and the devotee. Although on such a platform of love, the devotee sometimes appears to predominate over the Lord or transgress regulative principles, such dealings are far more advanced than ordinary dealings through regulative principles with awe and veneration. So Krishna is saying that this loving exchange, that is what is really sweet to him. It's very sweet to him. And in that loving exchange, sometimes the devotees who are already revived their relationship with Krishna, they already know what's their relationship. They already in the relationship with Krishna. They're already in that relationship. Sometimes it may appear that, oh, they're not following the regulative principles, but they are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, and we cannot imitate it. A devotee who is actually free from all designations due to complete attachment in love for the Supreme exhibits spontaneous love of God, for Godhead, which is always superior to the devotion of regulative principles. So we have to understand that, yes, there is even levels in bhakti. There's even levels in bhakti. So the Vaidhi bhakti, what is being said is Vaidhi bhakti, that engage in bhakti according to rules and regulations. That is Vaidhi bhakti. But there is another which is spontaneous, the Raga bhakti, which is spontaneous love of God. That's the attachment is there to Krishna. And it's out of love that somebody is doing whatever the devotee is doing because of his love for Krishna. That is higher. That is higher because that devotee is acting from a platform of love, whereas another devotee is acting from a platform of, I have to do it, so I'm going to do it. Both are bhakti. Both are right. But there is that the hierarchy is there. The informal language used between lover and beloved is indicative of pure affection. When devotees worship their beloved as the most venerable object, spontaneous loving sentiments are observed to be lacking. So what does it mean? The informal language used between lover and beloved is indicative of pure affection. When devotees worship their beloved as the most venerable object, spontaneous loving sentiments are observed to be lacking. So when somebody is a lover and a beloved, they will have endearing terms for them. My darling, my sweetheart. Those are endearing terms. They're very natural to speak in that way because you have love for that person. You're attached to that person. But when it is not spontaneous, when it's coming from awe and veneration, for example, the Vaikuntha Vasis, although they look like Lord Narayan, but they're not calling him, oh my darling, oh my sweet Lord. They know he's the Lord of Vaikuntha, so they approach him in that, oh my Lord, like that. They're not going to tell him, my darling, like how the gopis are calling him, or the Brajavasis, they call Krishna as Lala. They all call him my Lala, Thakurji. So many call him Thakurji also. So then just depends. So a neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instructions that regulate those who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. A neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instructions that regulate who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. But in fact, such spontaneous pure love is far superior to regulated devotional service. Such pure love of Godhead is always glorious in all respects, more so than reverential devotional service rendered by a less affectionate devotee. So we might think, oh, this person is following so many rules, regulations, austerities. Wow, his devotion to Krishna is so much. Wow. But if someone has that spontaneous love, that natural attachment, the natural affection for Krishna, that is higher because it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of love. And it's very glorious, more than I'm going to serve Krishna because this is the way the scriptures are telling me to serve. So here we are just trying to understand what is Krishna's mood. We have to follow the rules and regulations at our position. If we don't, we are just going to become pretenders. We have to follow the rules and regulations of devotional service as it's given to us by Lord Chaitanya himself, hear and chant. That's what he came to give us. E Shuddha Bhakta Lana Karimo Avatar Kariba Vivida Vida Adbhut Bihar Vaikuntha Daye Nahi Ye Leela Prachar Se Leela Kariba Yate Mora Chamatkar. Taking these pure devotees with me, I shall descend and sport in various wonderful ways, unknown even in Vaikuntha. I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. So Lord Krishna, in the form of Lord Chaitanya, educates his devotees to develop progressively to the stage of pure devotional service. Thus, he appears periodically as a devotee to take part in various wonderful activities depicted in his sublime philosophy and teachings. So Krishna is very merciful. He knows that he wants to give us this spontaneous love, this pure love, which is just based on love. There's no awe and veneration in Vrindavan. So he wants to give us that. And that's the reason he came as Lord Chaitanya, because he feels more attracted to that. Sure, people worship him, and that's okay. But what does he want? He wants people to enjoy with him, to love him, to play with him, to have loving relationships with him. And what are we doing? Such an opposite thing. We want, oh, you should think I'm so great, you should worship me. I'm such a great person. And what is Krishna saying? I don't want you to tell me I'm great. I don't want that. I want you to love me, have a loving relationship with me, have that loving exchange with me. So there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and in all of them, the Lord accepts the service rendered by his eternal devotees in a reverential mood. So in Vaikuntha planets, where Lord Narayan stays, even the inhabitants over there look like they have four-armed forms, everything opulent, everything so good. But they worship how? That Lord Narayan is the Lord of Vaikuntha, and I am his subordinate. I am his subordinate. So it's more in Dasya Ras. It's more in Dasya Ras. The other Ras are not very much evident. The Sakya, the Vatsalya, the Madhurya, that's not very much to be seen in the Vaikuntha planets. Only in Golok Vrindavan can we see all these rasas in the pure Madhurya way, sweetness. So is that Goloka Vrindavan is not in Vaikuntha? Yes, it is in Vaikuntha. It is in the spiritual world. It is the highest planet in the spiritual world. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna presents his most confidential pastimes as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So confidential pastimes. Not everyone knows it. What is confidential? If I say to you something, I'm telling you something in confidence, means I know you are dear to me. I trust you, so I'm going to tell you something confidential. I'm not going to tell the whole world about it. So his confidential pastimes, as what he is enjoying, that's his heart. Now this is Krishna's revealing his heart, his feelings. He's a person, like you and me. We have our feelings. So Krishna has a feelings, and this is what he's saying, that he enjoys these confidential pastimes. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So he came to give us how to be situated in that love, how to appreciate that love, how to revive our own loving relationship with Krishna. And so Lord Chaitanya, he, in the mood of the devotee, came to enjoy the pastimes. He came as a devotee to show us how we can love Krishna, be situated in our loving relationship with Krishna. Is that okay? Any comments?
No.
So you can read further tomorrow. Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare